Greetings, how you doing? Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Please remember to like the video and make sure that you are still subscribed. We are waiting for Kevin Hester. I've got it set up so that he can join this chat while we live stream, but I don't know. I don't know if he got my email. So I'm waiting for him to hopefully get his email and join this chat. Can you all hear me? Anybody? Everybody? Can you hear me? So welcome. Come on in. You can support the channel by PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, and of course Super Chat. Let's see. Oh, geez. All right. Hold on one second, guys. So, I just got a message from Kevin that he's not going to be able to join us today. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. He's got something going on. For whatever reason, I mean, obviously, weird stuff is going on. So, it's weird times. People are dealing with a lot. I hope, Kevin, you're doing all right. Yes, I'm eating oatmeal. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm just super hungry. I made something to eat right before we got on. But, so how you guys doing? I thought we were going to be talking with Kevin, and now I have to kind of redirect my whole thing. So let me figure out what the heck I'm talking about. So obviously they're still trying to figure out the stimulus package, for the United States people. Gene, let's have lunch together. I'm just going to say hello to some people. Void is here. Void has been here from the beginning and opened up the chat with everyone selling off their treasuries to do stock buybacks to artificially inflate Wall Street, while the feds buy treasuries to provide cheap loan money for Wall Street, a huge bubble to the rich. Again, well, we'll see. We'll see what transpires. I mean, obviously, this is creating an economic situation that is pretty debilitating globally. So your guess is as good as mine where all of this will end. So let me hold on one second. Let me see if I can I edit this while we're talking? I think I can. I think I can. So it's Friday, March 20th. Of course, honoring the gas strike by staying in quarantine. We're not going anywhere today. So, okay, I guess I'll just change the title to something that something I kind of wanted to have a conversation with Kevin about. But so let's see if it got it. I don't know if it's going to let me. There we go. Changed it up. Um, we're going into a time of industrial civilization contraction. Um, and this is good. This means good things for the environment, for climate change. I brought this up yesterday um, when I saw the post about the Venice canals uh, being clean and the fishes were coming back and the swans were back, and I didn't know about the veracity of uh, of the post, whether that was actually true or not. But it kind of reminded me of the the part of the movie, in the Avengers, the part where Captain America is like, "I saw whales in the Hudson River," and and who was it? Was it Iron Man? Some of the other Avengers were like, "How dare you find something good to talk about in this?" Like, kind of reacting to his comment in the way that is the current way to react to something, which is totally partisan, completely unnuanced. You have to either be totally against something or totally for something, and that's not actually true. But that's just a tool to get people to shut up, or to shut down a debate about something, or to have people stop thinking about something, right? So, I actually kind of think that movie was really instrumental in um, in kind of well, it was kind of predictive programming on one point. On one sense, it was predictive programming, but it was reinforcing the idea that you have to react in this way to something like, of course, Thanos is totally evil because he's just talking about killing people, right? And so when people start talking about overpopulation in the face of climate change, or humans being destructive in the face of climate change, like, people's immediate reaction is like, "Oh, are you going to start talking about eugenics now? Or is this a racist conversation, or is this a conversation where you're going to start, spewing some weird fascist stuff, or are you talking about totalitarian communism, or you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like a dopey way to not think about something, right? To immediately, like, you have to have this visceral gut reaction instead of uh, entertain an idea, like, from a philosophical standpoint, which entertaining an idea from a philosophical standpoint doesn't actually kill people, right? That talking about something in the abstract, or having an idea about something, doesn't actually hurt people or kill people. It's letting this idea play out into something that is harmful or whatever, that actually ends up having repercussions, actual physical repercussions. Um, what is the old saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So, and that also ties into the idea of free speech, like shutting down speech, right? The new, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know if you can call it respectability politics, or if you want to call it, I don't know. It's kind of like a respectability politics and identity politics, and like, it's all these things wrapped up together to make sure that you can't have a conversation about certain things because, oh my God, you touched this third rail of something, and so somebody's just not going to talk about it. So we have to retreat to our safe spaces, and we cannot talk about this, or we have to throw out, we have to completely um, shut down this entire conversation, or what's the word I'm looking for? Or wrap up this person as wholly bad, or somebody who's, it's like when when I have a discussion about Jordan Peterson, people immediately go like, oh, he's just a racist, he's just white fragility or white male fragility, and I'm like, okay, maybe, but some of his ideas aren't necessarily centered around that, and so I find him to be a complex character. Some of his ideas I don't agree with, some of the things he has to say are actually totally true. And so it's a new, it's a nuanced thing to listen to Jordan Peterson and say, I don't agree with that. I agree with that, right? So, but when you bring up his name, people immediately are like, oh, yeah, I just can't listen to Jordan Peterson. Oh, my God. Because they've taken the things that maybe are not such great ideas and just turned it into like he's somebody that you can't listen to. We cannot listen to him. We cannot give him any validity whatsoever because he's just, whatever. That kind of thing that becomes Trump derangement syndrome or Bernie derangement syndrome, or now I'm gonna dub. This is the first time I've ever heard it because I just said it. Bernie derangement syndrome, which is, if you ever start talking about Bernie Sanders, oh my God, his followers are all just mean and nasty and they're all racist and sexist, and they're just wild-eyed communists or they're Russian-backed. So Bernie derangement syndrome is a real thing, right? It's how people like shut down any contemplation of the idea that Bernie might have some good ideas, and you actually would have to not listen to Bernie Sanders at all to actually think these things, because if you actually listened to his speeches, his stump speeches or his messages, you would go, oh, a lot of that really makes sense, and I don't see any racism or sexism at all. Like you just have to listen to people talk about Bernie Sanders in order to believe that. But if you're one step removed from Bernie Sanders, if you never listen to him, then you might think all these crazy things about him, whatever. So you guys see where I'm going with this. So, I've been kind of wanting to talk about the idea that I've been wanting to talk about the idea, not just here, but in other places, about the idea that humanitarianism and, coronavirus is actually a really great answer to the problem of climate change. It's actually bringing about the actual changes that would be necessary, maybe not in a long-term nuanced way, but in an immediate way. It's an immediate shutdown of industrial civilization. Not 100%, but I don't know what the order of magnitude is. Is it 50% or 60%? I don't know. But it's shutting down industrial civilization, and the earth is saying thank you. And if you bring that up, I think if you bring that up in some places, people might be, do this like, oh, I'm horrified. I'm horrified that you could, use this humanitarian crisis in order to push your climate change agenda, or whatever. That's how people will react to it. Like when I posted something about, somebody posted one of my videos yesterday about socialism is the answer to coronavirus. Not because I think so, but because politicians are already telling you that it is. They're already telling you that it is. So, but having this person go, I can't believe you're using this crisis, this pandemic to push a political agenda, right? So, it's this ridiculous, moronic, dumbass, and I'm sorry, if I'm hurting anybody's feelings, but, if that's the way you think, you are a moron and a dumbass. If that's your answer to every situation or every idea that's ever thrown out there, oh my God, I can't even entertain this because it's just so like the coronavirus is actually like a humanitarian crisis. It's putting people in lockdown. It's the shutdown of civilization. It's it's making people sick. It's Earth's answer, if you like, to climate change. Some people have suggested that, and there are other answers that Earth has for climate change, right? Earth has lots of answers for climate change, and none of those are really good for humans, right? Because if we destroy the habitat, if we destroy nature, and Mother Nature just says, well, or the laws of the universe state that if you destroy your habitat, then you have nothing to eat. You will have nothing to sustain yourself with. That's Mother Nature's answer for climate change, right? And so you could react to that in a sense that in the way that, oh my God, this is a humanitarian crisis, but it's actually humans not understanding their impact on the earth or their impact on the world or their impact on their own selves, right? So, I don't know. So whenever you bring up something like this is what needs to be done for climate change, and people maybe suggest that that might be like, well, that's some kind of fascism or totalitarianism, or, I mean, look what's happening. We're on lockdown. People are on lockdown. People are under quarantine. People are being told to stay in their homes. This would actually be an immediate response to climate change if we really wanted to. If we really wanted to go down that road, if we really wanted to understand that climate change is a real threat and that we have very little time to deal with it, and so it would have to be an all hands on deck, like Sam Carana says, the climate plan. This is, this is a terrible situation. This is an emergency situation, and we need dramatic action right now, as described in this climate plan. What every single scientist is saying we should do about climate change is literally what we're doing about coronavirus. And of course, people would balk at that with all the reasons and excuses that they seem to not be balking at this reaction to coronavirus around. Like, it's going to destroy the economy. It's going to curtail people's freedoms. Oh my God, everybody's going to lose their job, right? All of the things that are happening under coronavirus are literally the things that would happen under an all hands on deck response to climate change. So even though, this is causing some kind of hardship and even some frustration on my own part, but not a terrible amount. I mean, this is, beyond the immediate monetary effects. I'm okay. I'm pretty okay with this. Beyond the immediate monetary effects, I think people are going to. I don't know. This is on some level. This would be a good time to explain to people this is how we deal with climate change, and I know that it's going to be very difficult for people to get into that mind frame or even have that conversation with people because, oh my God, we're in a humanitarian crisis. How dare you? Guyo Smith says, how dare you doubt the dimming? Curses. Boiled Rope Lamppost says, enjoy the normal crazy before the crazy crazy. I'm just gonna go say hi to everybody. Sorry. So again, guys, sorry about that. Kevin Hester couldn't make it today. Brian Smith, how you doing? Anthropomorphic facsimile, how you doing? You have a good point. What's up? Oswald Spengler. This is no longer a Kevin Hester interview. I'm sorry. I was all set up, and he couldn't do it. Am I weirdly out of sync? Anthropomorphic facsimile? Oh, the video in my... Yeah, because I was set up to do a live stream. I was setting up an interview through a live stream, and so I had to kind of use two programs together, and it's probably slowing everything down. I'm sorry about that. And I can't really go back and change it now. Prud'hone. It's being streamed in Japanese, but with English dubbed over it. Exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry that the delay is due to the programming I'm using. The program I'm programming. That was a Freudian slip. John Lungfist says, "Hey to socialism." Say hey to socialism. Um, Gene asks or says, "I'm curious about this non-essential travel ban between Mexico and Canada. The tiny virus that changes the world." I just yeah, no, there is no tourism right now. I mean, not non-essential means non-essential. So, and in a world where we cared about climate change more than business as usual, this is exactly what we would be doing. So on some level, the fallout, the benefit of all of this is that the climate is getting a break, and we'll see how global dimming kicks in or does not kick in these times. If it does, well then, that's just another added layer of fun for the people. And by fun, I mean a load of shite. Um, if it doesn't kick in, then we'll know that global dimming wasn't as serious as we thought it was. I find it interesting because also, if there's less, if there are less emissions in the air going into the air, I know that there are. Um, I know that there is a lag, a latency on heating from emissions that we've already put in the air. But if there are, there's lower amounts of methane and lower amounts of what um, what is it? I'm sorry, my brain is fried. Is it nitrous oxide? I don't think that's right. Um, and lower amounts of even CO2, right? Doesn't that bring cooling down? Or I mean heating down. So I don't know how much uh, this offsets, right? The heating of the gases that are in the air. I know that CO2 takes a long time to dissipate, so that will not necessarily dissipate. But there are other elements that there will be much less of. Osama, how you doing? Osama asks, when did YouTube stop putting the climate change blurb on your videos? I noticed it's gone. Maybe just on live streams. Um, I noticed that too. Actually, they've been putting coronavirus blurbs under my videos. Maybe because it's the thing that's going on right now, or maybe because we're talking about, all everything all mixed up together. So we're not like just talking about climate change. I don't know. I mean, it's all algorithmically run. So depending on how many times I say the word climate change, or how many times I say the word coronavirus, it's probably deciding what this video is about for me. Um, or not in the descriptors. Well, I have hashtags on all my live streams, anthropomorphic. So it should absolutely get info from my hashtags. What am I? Hold on one second, guys. I'm trying to look something up. Trying to look something up, and my fingers and my brain are slow. Yeah, okay. I was thinking of nitrous oxide. For some reason, I was thinking that's the wrong word. So nitrous oxide being a, extremely quick heating element, and methane also being a quick heating element. If we see a reduction in those, how do those offset heating that we might otherwise get from a lack of aerosols? Who knows? Who knows how all of this blends together in an eventual, uh, you know, ecological situation. Um, Prudhomme says all pubs and restaurants in the UK to close by the end of Friday. Yeah, it's all closing down. Well, so we'll go with. Um, Obviously, California has basically put a shutdown order on the state, so they're ordering everybody to stay home. I think we all knew that. Um, and everybody's supposed to stay home except for non-essential businesses. Uh, which are, grocery stores, restaurants serving to-go food, hospitals, fire and police departments. I think post offices are in there too, delivery services. So I think you can still go to the post office and mail things. So I don't know. Are all you guys feeling like on some level good about all of this in regards to how it's affecting climate change? Do you think this is a good thing? Do you think this is a terrible thing? Do you think this is just speeding us forward into doom? Yes, that's a good quote from Mike Pompeo. We lied, we cheated, we stole. Exactly. Cindy Seeley, every birdie must get high. Gene asks if I have a big supply of oatmeal. I have a supply of oatmeal. I wouldn't call it huge, but I've got some oatmeal. Poppy Davis, hello. Yeah, come on in, guys. Remember to like the video, and remember to make sure you're still subscribed. Cindy Seeley says, speeding us forward. Could be. I mean, it's just such, like, interestingly enough, so I think that we all are not as phased, even though I think, everyone is phased on some level, but we're all not as phased as, the multitudes, right? The masses who insist that everything be the way that it is and keep on going the way that it is. And if it ever stops being the way that it is, oh my God, I'm going to fall apart, right? So, for the normies, this is like, oh no, like what's happening, right? For people who don't have collapse on their radar, or world shifting situations such as this, for people that don't have that on their radar, they're not prepared mentally for this. And so this is a big blow to a lot of people. I don't know though. I see plenty of people on Facebook and Instagram just like, all right, we're all just hanging out in our pajamas, so good times, Darren Atchison says methane breaks down into carbon. That oversight with methane we only view from one chemical state. Well, I always say that too. That when methane breaks down, it breaks down into carbon. So is not really a reprieve after its whatever 10-year heating is done. Forest Dweller says oatmeal at Kevin's place, everybody. Ha ha ha. Yeah, come on. Come on over. Brian Smith says we are out of bread. Time to bake. Gene says I feel good, but it is going to get really bad for people who are not in rich countries. And I would imagine, you're right. I agree with you, and I imagine that it's probably going to get bad for people in rich countries too. Jenny Malloy says feels like a Sufi story. Good, bad, good, bad. Exactly. Void says, as Fridays for Future, we have started the climate strike online to act responsibly and stay at home in this crisis. Sure. We're climate striking right now, but you know the funny thing is, this is the ultimate climate strike, is self quarantining, not going to work. Yeah, personally, I'm pretty thrilled at the thought that we've stopped at least the wholesale damage on some level to the planet. Like we really slowed it down. The dude. Anthropomorphic facsimile, easy for me, retired, prepped, well, cabin in the mountains, but I'm worried for my musician friends. Symphony, major donors. Void abiding. Word. It'll be interesting to see how many people get infected. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what the rate of infection and or recovery is in each country, how that plays out. And you know, I say interesting from a scientific sense, obviously. Oh my God, you gotta you gotta qualify everything these days because, you know, if you say something, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Oh well, people are dying, and you're being clinical. You know. Anyways, I've had enough with the whole emotional overreaction to everything. Even this, I mean, it's bad. It's clearly it's a bad situation and it's freaky. But you know, running around saying, "Oh my God, here we go. This is the end. Here we go over the falls." I mean, that's, you know, if that's what you want to do. But I personally don't have any interest in acting like that or thinking like that or feeling like that. I'm just kind of like, well, we'll just see what the next iteration of this brings. You know, it's uncomfortable on the level of, you know, if I need to go to the store, I got to get up really early in the morning. I mean, I already get up early in the morning, but if I got to go to the store, I got to go stand in line and perhaps, you know, not find everything that I need, but I'm, you know, okay, so I'm inconvenienced for an hour out of my day because I got to stand in line to go to the store. You know, that's, you know, uncomfortable and inconvenient, but it's not to the level of people, you know, falling out in the streets on any level. And again, as Gene said, you know, for people who are in poorer countries or people who have limited resources, people who may be left out of this economic stimulus, you know, those are the people that are, you know, it's okay right now because we're only a week into this, at least in the U.S. But how does this play out 3 or 4 weeks from now? Poppy asks, has anyone seen any news on global dimming changes? Anybody? I have not. I don't think that we'll know. I don't think we're going to know anything for about at least 2 or 3 months. We're not going to really conclusively know something about warming or how global dimming has affected warming or not. Gene says, Kevin, do you know the traditional Buddha story where bad and good things happen to a farmer? And his response is maybe. Exactly. That's how I'm thinking. That's exactly how I'm thinking. Maybe. Maybe this is over the falls. Maybe this is over in 2 months. I don't know. I'm just kind of dealing with the things that are happening right now. Osama, thank you so much for the super chat. Cicada release on Earth Day 422. Yay. Thank you, man. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm actually I'm actually also somewhat enthralled that I have suddenly a bunch of time to work on music because I'm not being forced to go out and go out for 8 hours a day and do a day gig right now. So I got a lot more time to do music and do live streams. So there you go. Osama also says the sun feels very hot. I can tell you that. It does. The sun is feeling hotter than I've ever felt it. It seems to, we've been talking about this for a couple of years now. That the sun feels warmer than usual. The UV is clearly, people are taking high UV readings from all over the planet. And, something is going on. and something is going on, and those in the know, or those with the levers, their hands on the levers of power, are not letting you know what's going on. Because so many people are saying this. So many people are reporting high UV levels. So many people are saying the sun feels hot. And we don't hear anything about it from official sources. I don't hear anything about it in climate change articles, right? There's plenty of articles on climate change and what's happening, all over the planet. From every outlet, from the BBC, from the Guardian, from Washington Post, from Huffington Post, from alternative news sources. There's plenty of literature on climate change. I don't hear anybody talking about the lack of UV, not the lack of UV, but maybe the lack of ozone and the heightening of UV, and the fact that the sun feels extremely hot. Like, nobody's really talking about that in, official qualified circles or whatever. So I don't know what that means. I don't think that means that it doesn't exist, right? I just think that people either aren't talking about it on purpose or they're leaving it out of the discussion. And is that on purpose? I don't know. Anthropomorphic says UVC. Proudhon, UVC from geoengineering. Echoes of Not, how you doing? Well, everybody kind of got in here late, so maybe it's all good. Cindy Seeley says no gigs, no students could begin to get painful. Yeah. I feel for you. Yes. Brian Smith says we are in line with 2016 temps. Well, which would be a big deal because that's the hottest year on record, and that was a El Nino year. So if we tie 2016 again with no El Nino, that's not a good sign. Void says global temperatures for February showed a disturbing and unprecedented upward spike. It was 1.35 C warmer than the average February during the usual baseline period. Okay. Proudhon says scientific literature says warming due to loss of dimming shows up in days to weeks, max 6 weeks. Is the literature wrong? I don't think so, but if it shows up, then it's going to, there's going to be a little bit of a lag between the warming and the readings and somebody putting it together into some kind of overall, this is what's happening. I don't know. Brian Smith, yes, we are baking in La Nina. Echoes of not market falling again. Bad numbers out of New York. So, Guyo Smith, Corona good, dimming bad. Yeah, so I don't know. I have this I kind of have this innate sense, or idea that humans have this knee-jerk humanitarianism, right? And it's like a race to be, not a race, but let's say, we strive to be more compassionate, right? That's what, humans who are humanists do. Humans who are humaning, we're always getting more compassionate and more sensitive to others, etc. But it always seems to just go to humans. It always goes in favor of humans and not in favor of the planet. And when we extend that compassion to the planet, we see that a lot of our actions are actually not compassionate to the planet. But is that enough to change our actions? And maybe that's a good way to present this in the argument. And I'm going to be talking about this in the next, in the coming weeks, because we are in this coronavirus kind of thing that's going on. We're in the shutdown, and the virus is bad for us, and we see the shutdown as bad for us and threatening to humans, but it's actually a very good thing for the planet. So how do you couch that argument, or how do you couch that observation to people so they don't, lose their ever-loving minds about it? That this is, might be the best thing ever if we're talking about taking immediate action on climate change. If we're talking about actually, having a degrowth paradigm or society, this is pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, is it bad that people are dying? Sure. Is it bad that people are locked down? Sure. Or is it bad that, it's inhibiting a lot of people's livelihoods? Yes. However, those are all things that we were going to have to deal with sooner or later, right? Because if this didn't happen and it was just business as usual, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, all of this would be happening anyways because of climate change. And probably the entire time it was happening because of climate change, everyone and the powers that be all together would be saying, no, this isn't climate change. This isn't climate change at all. This is just some, fill in the blank specific problem that we have to deal with. Maybe coronavirus is climate change. Maybe this is a complete. Maybe this is, some kind of effect or knock-on effect of our destruction of habitat. Because that is one of the things that climate change was going to bring to us, was a resurgence of diseases that had been, before eradicated, or the emergence of new diseases. Right? That was totally in the books for what climate change was about to bring down on us. So is this a climate change causes coronavirus situation? And the funny thing is I overheard on Fox News last night something about somebody suggested this was because of climate change. Oh, with their condescending, ridiculous Neanderthal knuckle dragging dumb fuck, like, these climate change people are crazy. Brian Smith says China back to normal. Are they back to normal? Are they back to normal? I heard that they had no new cases. Here's something out of China, though. Data from China shows the majority of people with COVID 19 only suffer mild symptoms, then recover. Data from China. This is from today. Most people who contract the novel coronavirus experience mild symptoms. According to data from China, where the worst of the epidemic now appears to be over. Last month, scientists from the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention published a research paper analyzing the data from the first 72,000 people diagnosed with COVID-19. Epidemiologists say it will take a long time to fully understand the mechanics of the outbreak. The impact on men appears to be worse by a few percentage points. 2.8% of the men diagnosed died. 1.7% of the women did. But they were infected almost equally. More than 80% experienced only mild symptoms. Only 14% were classed as severe cases. So there you go. That's good to know. Again, will this, is this going to be something that is a wild and crazy roller coaster ride for a couple months, and then come June or July, things kind of start easing down a little bit, or is this enough of a lack of industrial activity to remove a lot of the aerosol masking effect and then create a rapid heating situation? So when we come out of the coronavirus thing, we go into a climate change thing or a rapid global warming thing? I don't know. Brian Smith says black to normal, black carbon. Indeed. Anthropomorphic facsimile. A couple weeks ago, I had to go looking for doomer videos because the virus was too depressing. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, Void. Of course, they're going to prop up. Well, Trump said something. Yesterday, Trump said he was going to get involved in the oil price war. And as soon as he said that, prices went up. They're not totally, they're still very, very low. And they've all started to go back down again, actually. The only price that went up is the U.S. price went from $16 a barrel to $21 a barrel. But almost every other one is low. WTI crude, 23. Brent crude, 29. OPEC, 27. Urals, 24. I mean, extremely low. But yeah, so Trump asked $20 billion to purchase oil, would essentially equate to a bailout of the U.S. oil industry, because several U.S. producers would likely go out of business if demand and prices stay low. Cornholio, what's up? From Reuters says there are no funerals. Death in quarantine leaves nowhere to grieve. Oil, Venmo for the strategic reserves, of course. Proudhon, yeah, right. Putin said U.S. mediation not needed. Price went back down. I'm wondering, are you guys getting the notifications that I'm live? Just curious. Just curious. Because my live streams are like down to about half of the viewership that they usually are, which seems a little weird to me. So moving on to a bit of politics. So yeah, Tulsi dropped out of the race and backed Biden. Bernie is probably going to drop out of the race and back Biden, of course. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys did. Sam Singh, no notification. Osama got notified a bit late. Okay. Yeah, Tulsi, everybody, it's a disappointing political season, even without the coronavirus. I think it's a disappointing political world or season in the U.S. Forest Dweller, congratulations on the potatoes. Honestly, so my feelings are that with everything that's going on, this is just for the U.S., of course. There's other parties in other countries. How viable they are, I don't know, but I think it's time. I think it's absolutely time for a third party in this country. Maybe this is a good time to start one. I think a climate change party should happen, not a green party. The Greens are all fine and well, but I think like a radical, like climate change at the top of the agenda party should be started. Gene says people are dying alone. Family and friends can't be at their bedside. Yeah. Yeah, I just read an article about someone who, a woman's husband, he was sick and he couldn't get a test. He was in the U.S. Or that he got a test finally, and that it took a really long time to get the results. In the meantime, he totally deteriorated, went into the hospital, and they still didn't have the results back for whether he was positive for COVID or not. And he died. They like gave him the results like the day before he died. And she wasn't there with her husband when he died. Ultra High Carb Life, how you doing? Damian Gonzalez asks, why don't we make the Green Party radical? I mean, I think they're fairly radical as they are, and I like their platform for the most part. I think I align more with the Green Party than any other party. Maybe we need something new because the Green Party has been around for so long, and they're kind of just like, oh, the Green Party. They'll never amount to anything in the U.S. And I don't mean to be dismissive, but they're just kind of seen as like, these bothersome, kids over in the corner, like, yeah, the Green Party, whatever. I think we need to start a new party that's just like really loud and just a new thing, right? Like you have to make some kind of like some kind of cultural splash, if you will, for lack of a better phrase. But you're really gonna have to be able to, start something new and have it be something that's really geared toward young people, you know, um, have basically a Bernie Sanders platform, um, but willing to uh, push the population in a direction like. So look, if you had a third party, and party was basically, but it doesn't have to be left or right. But if you had a third party and the Democratic Party knew that this party was going to take away your votes from every election, right? If this third party started up and the Democratic Party was like, okay, we're going to lose 5% of the vote every single time to this party, they would have to take your policy platforms into their party in order to win. Or they'd have to involve you in the conversation. They'd have to build a coalition with you. And if you made those demands, kind of like the Tea Party with the Republicans, that's how the Tea Party kind of took over the Republican Party and forced the Republican Party into doing, I don't agree with the Tea Party, and I'm not a fan, and I'm not saying the Republicans are good people, but if you did that very same thing with the Democratic Party, if you forced concessions from them instead of capitulating, that's the problem with the New Deal Democrat, or the progressive wing of the Democrats, or the Justice Democrats, is they capitulate. They're like, okay, we're in the Democratic Party for one, and if we don't get what we want, we'll just quietly go away, and they messed me, they screwed me over. If you were running a third party and you were guaranteed to take away votes from the Democrats, they wouldn't be able to do that. So it's time to do that. It is time to do that. And I'm down to do it. I'm down to do it now. Like, look, Biden's not going to beat Trump. It's already too late. He's not going to beat Trump. It's not going to happen. The reason why young people didn't come out to vote for Bernie is because they were demoralized after 2016. I know too many Bernie supporters or ex-Bernie supporters, and maybe they came out to vote for Bernie this time, but they were, they liked Bernie in 2016, and there were too many options. They were either for Warren or Yang, or a lot of people just sat out. They were like, screw it. I don't care about the political process anymore because I felt abandoned in 2016. So the young people didn't show up for Bernie this time, and they're not going to show up for Biden. They just are not going to. You're not going to. You're not going to excite enough people to get Biden elected. It's just not going to happen. So it's too late. It's already over. Trump is going to win, unless something wild happens. Trump is going to win. So, start the third party now and tell all the people that are mad at you, that, you're going to take votes away from Biden. Tell them to fuck off. Tell them, yeah, good. We're taking votes away from Biden. Either include us in the conversation or shut the fuck up. Or deal with the eventual loss. Deal with Trump. We're your best bet. Either voting for us is the best bet, or taking our policy platforms into your party is the best bet. But here's the other thing too, is that Jimmy Dore has been talking about this for the last couple of days. Trump is already out-lefting the Democrats in his response to this coronavirus thing. So what do the Democrats have to run on? Nothing. They shut out Bernie Sanders. They told him to shut up. They told him to go away. They told all his supporters to go away. And now Trump is offering, at least for the time being, lefty platforms to the people in response to this coronavirus. They've boxed themselves in, as I was talking to Chris about this last night. They're screwed. The Democrats are screwed. They're done. D-Truth, how you doing? Everything's shutting down in the UK. Anthropomorphic says, if we were fighting Mitt Romney, sure. What's the difference? So look, it doesn't matter. It's too late. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. So that your argument, the we must vote for Biden argument, it doesn't matter. He's going to lose. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're going to shame people, and in the same way that it didn't work for Hillary. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you shame people into voting for Biden. It doesn't matter how much you go, oh my God, but we must fight Trump. It doesn't matter. He's going to win. If Biden is Biden's going to lose. It doesn't matter. All the shaming and all the finger wagging and all the, blue no matter who, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So it's time right now. It's time right now. That's my argument. I feel very passionate about this, so, thank you, Gene. Right. John Lundqvist says, Kevin do an interview with Sam Mitchell. Yeah, I've done an interview with Sam before. It was a while ago. Maybe it's time again. Brian Smith says, Rethuglican. I think that was in response to somebody else. Oh, Osama. Osama, I did not know that. It was founded by Boston 9/11 Truth in 2006. Then it was hijacked by Alex Jones and Ron Paul. I didn't know that at all. Toilet paper party, says Boiled Rope Lamppost. Poppy Davis, yeah, shut the fuck up, Dems. Indeed. He does. He's not going to win. He's not going to win. I know you don't accept it. I know that you don't. And I'm, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. But I'm telling you right now that the thing that's hurting Bernie right now in the election, and we're not even going into the whole subject of vote rigging that is going on. There's a lot of evidence that the numbers are not true or not right. So that, Biden is not winning by this, massive scale that he's winning by, for one thing. But anyways, all of that aside, the reason that Bernie is losing right now is the reason that Biden will lose the election. Because the young people are not coming out. They're saying that Bernie is being hurt in most of these primaries because the young people are not coming out to vote for him. If they did come out, it'd be much closer, or he'd be winning. They're not coming out because they're disillusioned. They're completely disillusioned. And you think Biden is going to bring those people out? He won't. I'm sorry, he won't. We already did this. We did this in 2016. We did this. We put somebody up, and then we told everybody, oh my God, you have to vote for them because Trump is so scary. And you're going to do it again, and you're going to expect a different result? I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. And we'll just have to agree to disagree. I'm not mad at you. I'm just, yes, the vote rigging is real too. Oceanic Estate, yeah, he couldn't make it. Sorry about that. Was hoping to have him on, and was hoping it would be a good chat. D-Truth, Trump will destroy Biden. Only Bernie will be able to handle Trump. Plus, he's not corrupt. You're right. Trump will absolutely destroy Biden. It's just, it won't even. It's not even. I mean, Trump, it will do all the things that Bernie was afraid to do. Trump will just call him a straight up crook. Trump will bring up Hunter Biden. Trump will, bring up his Social Security votes. Trump will bring up his Iraq war vote. Trump will just brutalize Biden. And the whole time, everybody will be clutching their pearls. Oh my God, can you believe he said that? But you know what? It doesn't matter. Who fucking cares? He's going to say all those things, and everybody's going to go, yep, fuck you, Biden. That's exactly what is going to happen. And if Bernie would have done all that, he would have won, because people would have been, yep, sorry, not voting for you, Biden. But Bernie capitulated to this like niceness crowd. Oh, we got to be nice. Oh, we don't want to offend anybody. Oh, we got to support all the Democrats. Oh, that's funny. Uh, yeah, maybe so, Cornholio. Maybe so. Um, um, no, I don't. You guys, I don't know why. Kevin just said he had something to take care of, so I don't know. He probably had something immediate going on. It's all good. We'll make it up. Um, Poppy Davis remix of 2016, engineered by the Dems to get anyone pro-capitalism 1% elected. Indeed, that's exactly what it was. And actually, their strategy was perfect. Get a whole bunch of people in the race. To get everybody like, whoa, I'm confused. Who do I vote for? Then you get somebody who's supposed to be a progressive in the race, who endorsed Hillary Clinton last time, but she's supposed to be progressive, to go in and like mimic Bernie, and everybody's like, oh, I like this Warren. Bernie was cool before, but this Warren, she's something else. She splits the vote. She splits the progressive vote, or takes votes away from Bernie. And then you have people confused about all these, and then they all drop out at the same time and go Biden. I mean, I still don't believe that was enough to make him look electable, but okay. Poppy Davis says, yes, my pets are loving the shutdown, of course. Pets and kids. My daughter is loving the shutdown, too. She's like, vacation time. Yeah, I'm rather enjoying it. It's a really good excuse for me to work on, projects that I didn't really have time to work on. So it's all right. So what's up, guys? You want to do another live chat tonight? I've got to sign off, but I may come back tonight if you guys are up for another one. And I will come back a little more prepared as far as things to talk about. Osama Bidet. Joe Bidet. There you go. The dude, just a player in the game, indeed. All right, guys, thanks for joining in. I appreciate you. I may come back. I may come back another time tonight. If not, I will definitely see you tomorrow morning. So you enjoy the collapse. Enjoy your free time. Enjoy your quarantine. D-Truth, Corbyn dropped the ball. He never called out Boris once. Exactly. So, actually, Bernie kind of did a Corbyn 2.0. He just never really fought back. And he never called out Biden. And he's just... There are other problems, too, we can go into. I also think... exactly. Boiled rope lamppost. Happiness is a warm bidet. Well, the other thing that Bernie messed up on, every time he opened his mouth, he had to go, Trump is a liar, Trump is a sexist and a racist. Like, I think that was actually a mistake. Because if you're trying to win over independents, or if you're trying to win over people that maybe voted for Obama, then voted for Trump, and now you want them to come back to the Democratic Party, like, hearing you talk shit about Trump every time you open your mouth is probably not endearing. You know, that's endearing to Democrats, but not to anybody else. A lot of other people are like, shut the fuck up with that, please. Can you please stop that? The dude, I'm going to sign off after I read this comment. The dude, question to ponder. Are we getting set up for the short leap to outright fascist dictatorship? With progressives cheering on their goals, thus not questioning the authoritarians. Good question to ponder. Okay, well let's come. We'll come back tonight and we'll discuss. Orange man bad. Exactly. The giant orange. We must get rid of the orange ape in office. Jacob Gordon trying to win over people without critical thinking skills is tough indeed. But I'm going to include Democrats in that. I'm sorry. Most mainstream Democrats have exactly the same amount of critical thinking skills that Republicans have. They just are like, what? CNN said what? I totally believe it. And I'm just going to repeat it on social media every day. Because I can't think either. Anyways, bye guys. I'll see you later.